Hey everybody, good energy to you guys. So, various fluoride conspiracy theories. Organized political opposition has come from libertarians, the John Birch Society, and from groups like the Green Parties in the United Kingdom and New Zealand. Water fluoridation has frequently been the subject of conspiracy theories. During the Red Scare in the United States during the late 1940s and 1950s, and to a lesser extent in the 1960s, activists on the far right of American politics routinely asserted that fluoridation was part of a far-reaching plot to impose a socialist or communist regime. Dr. Charles Bett, a prominent anti-fluoridist, charged that fluoridation was better than using the atom bomb because the atom bomb has to be made and transported to the place it has to be set off, while poisonous fluorine has been placed right beside the water supplies which we consume as a daily necessity. In 1987, Ian E. Steffen claimed that he was told by Charles Eliot Perkins that repeated doses of infinitesimal amounts of fluoride will in time reduce an individual's power to resist domination by slowly poisoning and narcotizing a certain area of the brain, and will thus make him submissive to the will of those who wish to govern him. All these claims back then had a political and ethical basis, and rarely any scientific basis was found. But in my opinion, there is some scientific basis for that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. The fluoride controversy and the anti-fluoride claims. The controversy over fluoridation of drinking water supply began as early as 1960s, approximately a decade after the American Public Health Service officially launched the National Fluoridation Program. The controversy has gained momentum over the years as more research is released to support the stance of the anti-fluoride lobby. Several factors have spurred the present-day controversy: the irreversible, debilitating effects of fluoride toxicity, the transient effects, and hence the continuous need of exposure to fluoride to maintain carriers' resistance, and the fact that benefits of topical use of fluoride are as good as ingested fluoride are some of the leading contributing factors. Anti-fluoride claims. Anti-fluoride lobbyists start with the fact that fluoride is not an essential nutrient and no disease has ever been linked to fluoride deficiency. In fact, fluoride is claimed to be a cumulative poison and biologically very active even at low concentrations because it interferes with hydrogen bonding and inhibits numerous enzymes. Only 50% of the daily ingested fluoride is excreted through the kidneys. The remainder accumulates in bones, the pineal gland, and other tissues. See, that's why I think scientists have proven that it does mess with your thinking and your thought ability and the ability for people to manipulate your thoughts, because it affects your pineal gland. And right there they say how that's where it goes, and it accumulates in your pineal gland, which I believe causes a calcification of the pineal gland. Anyway, continuing on. Initial studies on animals showed that fluoride accumulates in the pineal gland led to reduced melatonin produced and an earlier onset of puberty. Melatonin is, that's your skin, that's how you absorb energy. So if the thing that helps you absorb energy is being deteriorated, you're not going to feel as good. The same research then showed in later studies that fluoride can also accumulate to very high levels in the human pineal gland. Again, fluoride toxicity can lead to renal damage in children. Researchers studied 210 children living in areas of China with varying levels of fluoride in water, 0.61 to 5.69. That's a big gap. Among this group, the children drinking water with more than 2 ppm fluoride, particularly those with dental fluorosis, were found to have increased levels of NAG and Y-GT in their urine, both of which are markers of kidney damage. The children's urine also contained increased levels of lactic dehydrogenase, a possible indicator of liver damage. A diseased kidney is unable to effectively excrete fluoride, so individuals with compromised kidneys are at risk of developing fluorosis even at normal recommended limit of 0.7 to 0.12. So even at underneath the limit that they say is okay, we're still poisoning and killing our kids, essentially. When I say killing, I mean hurting our kids. Fluoride has been shown to be mutagenic by causing chromosome damage and interference with the enzymes involved with DNA repair in a variety of cell and tissue studies carried out in animals. Recent studies have also found a correlation between fluoride exposure and chromosome damage in humans. The only government-sanctioned animal study to investigate whether fluoride causes cancer in 1990 found a dose-dependent increase in cancer in the target organ bone of fluoride-treated male rats. This led to a 14-year research carried out by Harvard University that showed a significant link between fluoridation and a rare form of bone cancer called osteosarcoma in young boys, consistent with the result of the 1990 animal study. Fluoride as a neurotoxin has been proven in several animal studies. A 2006 National Research Council report stated that it is apparent that fluorides have the ppm to interfere with the functions of the brain and the body by direct and indirect means. This finding was confirmed by a study where groups of children exposed to 8 ppm fluoride in water were found to have lower average IQs, less children attaining high IQ, and more children affected by low IQ. While 8 ppm is much higher than the fluoride level added to water in fluoridation programs, 0.7 to 1.2, these results are in congruence with previous studies from China that indicates that fluoride may affect IQ at lower levels. If fluoride is added to water which contains aluminum, then aluminum fluoride complexes will form. Aluminum fluoride complexes have the potential to interfere with many hormonal and some neurochemical signals. Aluminum fluoride was recently nominated by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and National Institute of Environmental Health Science as high health research priority due to its known neurotoxicity. Dental fluorists is not only a cosmetic defect, its psychological impact on the child has been established by the U.S. National Institute of Mental Health. A study found that children with severe dental fluorosis are more likely to be perceived by their peers as less intelligent, less attractive, less social, less happy, less careful, less hygienic, and less reliable, characteristics which could have major effects on a child's self-esteem and their entire livelihood in life. The U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention declared that in the second half of the 20th century, the steep decline in dental decay in the United States can be attributed to fluoridation. However, anti-fluoride lobbyists show that a similar decline in dental decay has been observed worldwide in countries that do not fluoridate their drinking water supplies. To overcome selection bias, the criteria of the countries selected for this comparison study were tri-pronged. Countries with a mean annual per capita income of U.S. $10,000 or more in the year 2000, a population in the year 2000 of greater than 3 million, and finally those countries that had WHO carriers data available, which is the World Health Organization. The most common explanation for the worldwide declining trend was the wide distribution of fluoride toothpastes, but serious research later attributed at best 40% to 50% of carriers' reduction to fluoride products. Once fluoride is put in the water, it is impossible to control the dose each individual receives. This is because some people, for example, manual laborers, athletes, diabetics, and people with kidney disease drink more water than others. In addition, the average person receives fluoride from sources other than the water supply, such as fluoridated oral hygiene products, food, and beverages processed with fluoridated water, mechanically deboned meat, and teas. Some individuals appear to be highly sensitive to fluoride, as shown by case studies and double-blind studies. In one study, which lasted 13 years, the results showed that about 1% of patients give 0.10 mg of fluoride each day developed negative reactions. According to the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry 1993 study, certain subsets of the population may be particularly vulnerable to fluoride's toxic effects. These include the elderly, the diabetic, and people with poor kidney function. Also vulnerable are those who suffer from malnutrition, for example, calcium, magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin D, iodine deficiencies, and protein-poor diets. Those most likely to suffer from poor nutrition are the poor, who are precisely the people being targeted by new fluoridation programs. While being at a heightened risk, poor families are less able to afford avoidance measures, for example, bottled water or fluoride removal equipment. Fluoridation of a community drinking water is considered unethical because individuals are not being asked for their informed consent prior to medication. It is standard practice to obtain consent for all medication, and this is one of the key reasons why most of Western Europe has ruled against fluoridation. It is a violation of human rights, a direct violation of Nuremberg Code that states that research or even routine medical procedures must be done with the voluntary cooperation of the subjects, who must be fully informed of the risks or benefits of the procedure in which they are involved. Studies have shown an association between the use of fluorosilicic acid and its sodium salt to fluoridate water, and increased uptake of lead into children's blood. Lead is acknowledged as a neurotoxin that damages the child's developing brain, and lead toxicity is unaddressed, especially in developing countries. Sodium fluoride is an extremely toxic substance. Just 200 milligrams of fluoride is enough to kill a young child, and just 3 to 5, example a teaspoon, is enough to kill an adult, or 3 to 5 grams. U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has never approved of any fluoride product designed for ingestion as safe or effective. It is a proper claim by the anti-fluoride lobby, but according to the EPA/FDA Memorandum of Agreement, the FDA's regulatory purview is limited to the safety and efficacy of food, drugs, or cosmetic-related products, as well as bottled water, which is marketed as consumer beverage. Thus, if bottled water has fluoride additives and is approved by FDA, then this comes under the category of fluoride product meant for ingestion. The American Dental Association, ADA, recommends that water with added fluoride, bottled or otherwise, should not be used to mix concentrated formula or foods intended for babies aged 1 year and younger to prevent tooth damage. Fluoridated bottled water comes with a special instruction for infant consumption. The ADA stance is in congruence with the anti-fluoride lobby, who report that the level of fluoride put into water, 1 ppm, is up to nearly 550 times higher than normally found in mother's milk, which is 0.019 to 0.004 ppm. Therefore, there are no benefits, only risks for infants ingesting the heightened level of fluoride at such an early age, or any age, in my opinion. So there you go, guys. Some 401 on the whole water and fluoride situation. All right, love you guys. Take care. Bye.